All right, y'all, back to work. Boy, another fantastic day today. Hope you made a bunch of money off that bull trap we talked about last night. And boy, the markets are still pretty wild right now. But you know what? Look closely, because there is one just obvious clue right now that is screaming at us, hiding right in plain sight, hidden inside these candlesticks. In fact, that one clue tonight might set up one of my favorite chart patterns. We call it a slingshot reversal in our trade room. We're going to talk about that one clue. We'll talk about slingshot reversals. I want to make sure everyone has a game plan to make some more money tomorrow morning as well. So enough of the intro. Charts are ready. Let's keep the good times rolling, get our charts all prepped up, and make some more money on what should be a great Wednesday morning. S&P SPY is ready to go tonight. NASDAQ triple Qs are all ready. I have only two, but very important clues on these charts right now that are telling us where I think the winning trades are waiting for tomorrow. One of those big clues is right here on the hourly time frame. I like to use the hourly time frame as an overall directional filter. It's very obvious to see right now the S&P and the NASDAQ are all bearish here right now. That's a big clue. That tells us the direction of the overall momentum. But you know what this hourly chart won't do? It won't help us time the entries. There's one really important clue. It's hiding right in front of us right now, and that will tell us how to time the best entries for tomorrow. Before we talk about that one critical clue right now, let's check schedule for tomorrow. Once again, there's no major news tomorrow. We got the FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock Eastern time, but we already know what they're going to say. They're going to say they're waiting on the tariffs and all blah, blah, blah. So I'm not worried about the FOMC tomorrow. We will, though, be listening to the news headlines tomorrow out of the White House regarding tariff talks. And we heard today a lot of countries are coming together and making trade deals right now. So we do expect it to be a lot of headlines here the next 24 hours. We do have some big news, though, later this week. CPI on Thursday. So make sure you come back tomorrow night. We'll get ready for one of the biggest news events of the week. But let's get back to our charts, though, because I promised you earlier, there's one critical clue here down on the tick charts. Let's now grab some tick charts right now. We don't trade time charts in our trade room. We trade off these tick charts. Tick charts make pattern recognition a whole lot easier. All the time frames, by the way, in the upper left-hand corner there. And if you're watching for the first time right now, that is the 21 EMA. It's pretty much the only indicator we need to make money in our trade room. I mentioned one more important clue here, and it's hiding right in plain sight. Over the past couple days, we've seen a big move down, a big move up, a big move down, a big move up, a big move down. If you're a member of my trade room, anytime we see big moves back and forth like this, what do we know? There's a range in here somewhere. We may not know exactly where that range is right now, but that makes it very difficult to want to sell down here. And I would like to look for some bear traps, some reversals coming off that low. And as I mentioned to earlier, if we're really lucky, we'll get what I call a slingshot reversal tomorrow morning in our trade room. So in these situations, there are three different types of entry patterns I'm looking for to trade that range reversal. We'll cover those first. And again, in a moment here, later on in the video, we'll talk about that slingshot reversal if we're really lucky tomorrow morning. So first things first here, in order to buy down here with all of that momentum going lower, I need to trap in some sellers so I can use their stops to fuel that reversal going higher. To do that, my go-to pattern is always called a crown reversal. It's very simple. We're going to wrap together what is basically a failure pattern and a bear trap pattern if you guys are in my free trading classes right now. What that means is let those bears try once. Go higher, let them try twice. That higher high now means underneath that low, I can look for a nice strong green candle closing back above that moving average. Again, it's basically wraps together a failure pattern, a two-try failure, and a bear trap pattern. If you guys are taking my free classes right now, we call these crown reversals. Now remember, once we get that bottom nailed, the market's going to want to rotate going higher here, right? So as we start going higher here, think about adding to your winner. And the way you do that is to look for separation off the moving average, a higher high in price, and move right below that low. So 1 out of 3 kind of basic trades here for tomorrow is a crown reversal, what's basically a bear trap, and of course an add-on. And again, that add-on, you want to get that separation off the moving average, like over there, right? Over there. Look up top here, right? Where they separate off that moving average, lower low, right? The add-on right there. Separate off the moving average, lower low, and the add-on right there. A lot of examples of those inside our free trading classes. Now, let's face it, we may not get that crown reversal. We may end up just running back higher here, back into that range up overhead. If I can't trap in these bears right now and squeeze their stops like this, if this thing V bottoms and just whoop and runs right back up again, my goal will be to begin looking for this new bull channel. If we start running higher here, I'm gonna look for a trend line off these highs, connect off those lows, and as always, I'm going to look left, I'm going to find some of these prior swings, and the goal is to get in underneath one of those prior swings off the low of that channel. Now, there's lots of ways in which we can do this. I can get below the moving average and look for a nice strong green candle closing back above for a simple bear trap. A lot of times, though, we don't get that good signal. We see the bears come in, they try once, they try twice. Again, I'm a big fan of running stops, right? So trapping in the bears and squeezing stops coming in off of that low. Any of the entry patterns you guys are learning inside the free trading classes can be applied on that first test off of that channel. And again, the reason why I'm not trying to sell down here is because of that big moves back and forth, expecting that rotation. And remember, this could easily be here, it doesn't matter, right? Go lower, trapped. I mean, in all reality, if we go a bit lower, it's even better because now we're all the way down into those big lows down there. Horrible spot to be a seller right now. So I like the crown reversal. I like the V bottom. And don't forget too, we oftentimes will get a nice bear trap off this low. We'll oftentimes get a nice, easy winning trade. But again, we're so bearish right now overall. Don't be surprised if we see a nice, easy bear trap winner. What I do is I use a 1-to-1. So size of my stop, size of my first target, stop moves up to that point of entry, up to the point of entry, get rid of the risk. A lot of times we'll get that 1-to-1 target. It's a winning trade. But with all that momentum, there's a very good chance here the bears will come in and whack that thing back down again. Now remember, nothing changes in this situation. This now, anybody who sells up here, they're taking their profit where down here. So sellers up here become buyers down here. We're right at that big weekly low down here. There's no way I want to sell that. If it's a horrible spot to be a seller, it's a great place for a bear trap. Now remember, on a double bottom retest, I can be a lot more aggressive on the entry. On this one, it's 1, it's 2. I don't need that specific crown reversal pattern. I wouldn't argue about a crown reversal pattern here, but all I need now is a simple bear trap, right? A simple 2 tries to run those stops. And again, remember, when you find yourself in the green on these, don't get lazy. Keep looking for that add-on, that separation off the moving average, that higher high in price, and get right in below that low. So that double bottom retest, we call these retest trades in our trade room, are some of our favorites. So those are 3 of the basics. Now, I want to talk about that slingshot reversal because that could really be our biggest winner of the week tomorrow. Before we do that though, let's slow down for 2 seconds because I know most folks watching right now, you know these patterns already. You're making money with these already. But if you're here for the first time right now, this might be a brand new strategy for you. Don't you worry though, I teach this entire system in our free trading classes. In fact, I have a ton of examples of bear traps, bull traps, add-on trades, retest trades. Guys, the markets are way too good right now not to be making money out there. I want to help you time better entries with this. I'll put a link up top here for you, upper right-hand corner. Hit that link that popped up there. Take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that video course will teach you a stupidly simple trick we use in our members trade room that literally tells us exactly where the winning trades are going to be each day. More importantly though, I want to teach you my 4 favorite entry setups so you can time better entries, make a lot more money. Guys, if you're still missing the best entries right now, if you've lost your confidence in your current trading strategy, what are you waiting for? Hit that link that popped up there. Watch that short video trading course here. Everyone loves all the trade examples I include in that short video series. The best part is it is completely free for you. Oh, also too, keep in mind, I'm going to put all the important links you'll need down below the video in the description, right? Start first with the free video course. Most folks start making money all on their own with only that free video class. So hit that one first. And then don't forget, I post a ton of charts and videos and mindset stuff on Twitter, or X as they call it these days. If you're on Twitter X, give me a follow. Again, all the details you'll need to learn the roadmap, learn the strategy, time better entries, get more consistent results. It's all linked up there for a description of the YouTube video. So now you know, if you're new here right now, now you know where to learn more so you can start making money on this stuff as well. Now, I mentioned earlier, right? Big moves back and forth like this. Big moves back and forth like this. I gave us that crown reversal off of that low. Anywhere down here, right? Crown reversal back up. That V bottom and that pop and grind, right? That V bottom and that pop and grind. And I talked about that double bottom reversal back up again. One more question though. One more question before we talk about the slingshot reversal here. What if we find ourselves all the way back up again? Remember, it's one big range right now in an overall bear market. So just like today, right? We go up, buyers once, buyers twice, run lower, separation, and that add-on. We talked about this last night, but I'm telling you right now, if this thing runs and makes a strong run, unless we get some serious tariff headlines tomorrow, there's a very, very good chance here we run up and we see the exact same sequence we talked about in last night's video. We run up, we trap the bulls in, give them 2 tries, we run back down again as we separate off that moving average. And again, when I say separation, right, it's that shallow pullback that we saw late morning this afternoon. Shallow pullback, that's the giveaway there for that lower low and that add from there. I can be a lot more aggressive on the sell side right now because we're overall bearish on the hourly. It's crown reversals off the lows, it's failures off the highs. And again, if that's a brand new language for you, take that free trading course I mentioned earlier, and that will make everything a whole lot easier. All right, let's now talk about one of my favorite chart patterns, the slingshot reversal. But I'll tell you, if we're lucky, we'll get that tomorrow morning. Let's go grab the NASDAQ right now. Now, NASDAQ, quite obvious, right? We're definitely bearish overall. This is not a bull market whatsoever. But again, look where we are right now, getting down around those key lows here. Very difficult to justify being a seller down here. Now, before we jump into the NASDAQ tick charts and talk entries, if you're enjoying this video tonight, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button and make sure you subscribe. I know we're all busy people these days, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching my videos every evening here on the YouTube channel. So thank you so much for all the likes, subscribes, and all the ongoing support. Now, I promise I'm done begging for attention here now on the YouTube video. Let's get serious now over on the tick charts. Again, this clue right now is hiding right in plain sight. This took me so long to learn this technique, but again, anytime we see a big move down, big move up, big move down, big move up, big move down, again, there's probably a big range right in there. We simply don't know exactly where that range is just yet, but in most cases, when I see big moves back and forth like this, write this down, right? Big moves back and forth. we're probably rotating right back up to the other side of that trading range. That is why I said earlier, I love the idea of a crown reversal pattern, right? So all three of those entry patterns I mentioned earlier on the S&P can be applied the same way here on the NASDAQ, right? So crown reversal off the low, the V bottom, the retest trade, all the same stuff we covered before a moment ago on the S&P can be applied. Now let's talk about a slingshot reversal. What does that mean? Well, what it means is we may go sideways into a range down here. Now, why would that be a big important clue? Because ranges love to rotate. If you understand how ranges work, the amount we go above, the amount we go below, back and forth, we rotate back and forth. We like to use things like expanding triangles or megaphones. We use things like pendulum swings. We measure the amount above, the amount below, right? We use these tools in range-bound markets. Now, why, maybe you're asking, why would this be a great scenario? Well, because think about it, right? If we are sitting here now, if we are sitting here at the low of one big, massive trading range right now, okay, what's going to want to happen? Price is going to want to rotate back up again. And again, remember, right? It may not be here, might be a bit lower here too, right? It might go a bit lower here, right? Don't be so specific on these, right? I'm looking for that pattern off of this low. But imagine now, right? Imagine now, and I'm sure some of you guys are already picking up on what I'm dropping right now is, imagine now we go sideways into a trading range now. Now imagine now we rotate lower and then begin rotating higher. I call these slingshot reversals because, again, we already know it's looking like one big trading range. And so oftentimes, bear traps down here can trigger a massive, again, I call these slingshots because they slingshot off that low and then wind up making this huge run back in the opposite direction. So let's talk about some scenarios right now to trade that slingshot reversal. The first one's pretty easy, right? If I go into a range here and I run lower, I love the idea here of that same bear trap, right? Get those bears trying once, bears trying twice, right? And run that sucker back up again. And again, remember, after you get that bottom picked, then go looking to add to your winners. I can't tell you how much adding to my winning trades has completely changed or transformed my trading overall. And again, add on right there. Add on right there. These are bearish, obviously, right? But same basic idea there, right? Okay, so now as we rotate off of that low now, the amount below, the amount above, that now gives us our target, right, up off of the side there. And again, think about this now as one big range. Okay, I would be surprised if we saw that slingshot off the low. I'd be pretty surprised if the bears could hold this. We're going to probably wind up punching and going higher. If we do in that situation, think about now using that trading range for a breakout pullback, right? Think about now how, remember, think about the bigger range here, right? A larger range rotation. Now imagine we break out, right? We start separating off that moving average. Separation equals strength. We break through our pendulum swing. That's a very big clue for a breakout. When that happens, it's breakout pullback time off the top of that trading range. Now, when I say breakout pullback, think about that bear trap. Get below the moving average, trap those bears in once, bears twice. Remember, always a higher high on a bear trap because sellers like to sell high, right? Rope them in and squeeze those stops. Okay, so higher high. And again, now we know where their pain is. Now we know where their stops are. We can run those stops going higher. We know where the market wants to go. It wants to finish off that rotation going higher here. Okay, let's kick this up one more notch. All right, one more notch here. Now, a little more advanced this one, but I think it'll make sense. If we go sideways into a trading range, what if we go higher first? If we go higher first, there's basically two scenarios we want to look for. One would be basically a head fake, right? Head fake, we run back down again. if that happens, it's simple. The amount above, the amount below, that tells us now where to look for that bear trap and that run back up again. 1, 2, trap those bears in and squeeze back up again. Same basic idea, right? We run up, we add to the winner with that add-on trade. And again, all we're doing is trading that rotation. Remember, in this scenario, you want to leave that runner, right? Leave that runner because, again, there's a good chance we have a bigger range developing overall over the past couple days here. So, again, this would be a good one. Now, we always say in these videos, the best entries are scary. I'm gonna warn you right now. That bear trap down there is going to be scary. It's going to feel like I'm doing this wrong. If it feels like that, you're probably on the right track, right? My biggest winning trades are always the ones where I second guess myself. Am I sure about this one? But I always remind myself, trade the plan. Keep trading the plan, right? Let the law of large numbers play the long game, as we say in our trade room. Let the trade play out. Let the system work for it because it works so well. So that slingshot, right? Again, it will, if it goes higher first and comes crashing back down, it will feel very scary. That probably means you're doing something correctly. Another very common scenario too is, oftentimes is we don't get the slingshot, right? You know, not my favorite, but if we went sideways overnight here, would anybody be surprised here if we may get a little tiny bear trap down there and then pop up and start separating off that moving average? Remember, one of the most consistent things I know about trading are breakout pullbacks, right? Breakout pullbacks. Now, again, how would you know when we get a successful range breakout? There's 2 things you look for. One is a pendulum swing, right? So again, if we go lower, the amount below, if we break that pendulum swing, that's usually a good sign we have a successful breakout, and we can now look for a breakout pullback. But I would argue that what's more important than the pendulum swing is that separation off the moving average. Because what will happen is, right, if it breaks out going higher and pulls right back to that 21 EMA, you're going to see the buyers will come in, they'll be stuck right on top of the moving average, and that will probably fail back down again, right? It's all about how we separate or lack of separation off that 21 EMA. But again, if I start seeing these buyers separate away from that moving average, that makes sense, right? What I mean by that is the pullbacks. The pullbacks are shallow, right? They separate. Look over here, right? They separate off that moving average. That's why everybody piled on that pullback, because they knew that separation was the giveaway. Okay, now we already know about a V bottom, right? So one way to do this is draw a trend line off the highs, bring that trend line down around that low. Again, the goal would be to use some of these previous highs in combination with that channel. That would be a great trade for tomorrow. Not the slingshot reversal, right? But still a pretty darn good winning trade there. And again, remember, on these kind of pop and grind moves like this, think about finding prior swings. Those swings are usually where the money's made, right? So it's that first test off the low of that channel. Oftentimes, we get that straight pull back off top of that channel. We get below, off top of that range. We get below moving average. Bears come in. They try twice, higher high in price, and we're squeezing stops, running higher from there, adding to our winner, right? Adding to our winner as we run going higher here. And again, like I mentioned earlier on the S&P, once we find ourselves up around these highs again, right? We go up, we trap the bulls in, and we run this thing back down again. Keep trading that rotation, right? Keep trading that rotation. So breakout pullback, maybe it's a pop and grind channel, maybe it's a 2-legged pullback off the top of that range, kind of a classical breakout pullback. But again, that's my mindset for tomorrow, and we'll see if we get that slingshot reversal below of that trading range. All right, guys, that's the game plan for tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, boy, the week is flying right by. The place to be is in my trade room every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Guys, the easiest way to make money in these wild markets is to learn and trade along with us every morning at the opening bell. Once again, I'm going to put all the important links you'll need to learn the strategy, start making money on your own. Come join us in our daily trade room. As always, enjoy that free trading class. Enjoy all the trade examples there. Then come join me in our morning trade room and we'll do it together. In the meantime, guys, be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? Make a bunch of money for me tomorrow morning. Keep the good times rolling. As always, be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.